Hi everybody. We're going to go into a lot more detail about hay when we conclude at least portion 1 of our hay study with Timothy Hay. But I wanted to very, quickly go into the basics of what we kind of expect from each cut. Now, these aren't necessarily sold by cut or as what we're going to explain, but I think these are great examples of what we expect to see with each cut of Timothy Hay and even alfalfa. So here's just a really quick rundown of what we're talking about. And Lyric, of course, is going to help out. So right here we have some Oxbow Western Timothy. Now they don't sell it by cut, but what we got actually looked like a great first cut. And as you see, it's very stemmy. There's a lot of stems, a lot of seed heads. That is your coarse, or what we usually consider to be a first cut hay. So when we talk about first cut and things like that, we're picturing a lot of stems. Now this hay is high in fiber and low in protein, fat, and nutrients, which actually sounds like a bad thing sometimes. A lot of people get caught up in wanting high protein, high nutrient. In that case, with rabbits and guinea pigs and other little animals, that can actually be too rich. So a first cut is great. It's great for their teeth. Really good for digestion. If you have an overweight rabbit, it can be a great option. Not all rabbits will eat a coarse Timothy hay. So your next best option might be second cut. Now, second cut does have stems, and you can see it does have some seed heads. This is actually Small Pet Select second cut Timothy, and it does have a lot of leaves as well. So what this is a great compromise. It's a little lower in fiber, but still lower in protein and nutrients than like your third cut. So it's a good blend. So if you see some stems and some leaves, there's a good chance you're looking at second cut hay, or a good option. A lot of the guys tend to like that flavor really well. So it's a good compromise if your rabbits won't eat a coarse Timothy. Now our third option here is actually from Rabbit Hole Hay, and we believe it looks like a great third cut. And as you see, it tends to be sweeter. It's leafy, it's not as high in fiber. There's no stems really at all. You're not going to get any seed heads, but the taste tends to be really good. Now we don't recommend feeding this as a primary hay because it can be really rich. It is higher in protein and those nutrients, which can actually result in a nutritional imbalance. It can cause issues like sludge and some digestive problems if you do too much or do it solely. It can be a great way to put on a little bit of weight if they need to, because it is higher in fat. It's also something you can add to other cuts of hay if you're trying to get your rabbit to eat more. So I wouldn't ever recommend it be a sole source of hay, just because it is pretty rich and it doesn't have those stems and everything that we like to see, for tooth wear and things like that, but it can be a good tool in certain situations. All right, so we talked a bit about the Timothy, and you can see he's still going to town over here on this third cut. Soft stuff. It is very tasty, but again, it's better, as a treat hay. Now this over here is some alfalfa. You may hear about this primarily for rabbits that are, 6 months or less, or you might even hear a year. And it is typically seen as something essential for babies. With Sherwood, we do a little different. So if you're using Sherwood, you need to feed alfalfa. It is a legume, not a hay. It is higher in protein, fat, and nutrients and fiber. So it's kind of an all-around rich food. It can potentially give them issues if you give them too much. It's definitely not something we see for adults. Now in a pellet, balanced, that's a whole nother story. It can be a great tool, but for the most part, you won't use this as your primary source of hay. Now, next over here is actually some orchard grass. This is a Rabbit Hole Hay orchard grass. They do sell it in soft and coarse. I don't right now have the coarse to show you, but it's very similar to our coarse Timothy hay in that it's very big stems and things like this. Now this was very soft. There's no stems at all in this, and it is comparable to a third cut hay and very soft. It is high again, and it, they'll say orchard grass is kind of similar to a second cut, but it definitely matters if you're getting the stems or the soft stuff, because this can be pretty rich as well, this softer. Now, it can be a great option, you know, versus Timothy hay if you have allergies and things like that. It's very common, but just watch which one you're getting. Now, my rabbits wouldn't really eat the stuff with the stems, so that was an issue for us. But I did notice that some of the rabbits got sludge, and the guinea pigs' urine kind of tended to smell more, and they all gained weight on this. So very similar in respect to this third cut Timothy over here that Lyric is scarfing down because it tastes really well. All right, well, that is just a very quick little lesson on some facts about hay to help, you know, you choose which is right for your guys. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them for me. Thanks so much.